And a lot of people come on holiday here. They kind of go, oh, this is quite nice. House prices are reasonable. And actually, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to see. There's nice communities, nice place to bring up kids, nice place to go out if you're young, nice place to retire to. Why would you ever want to leave?
Yeah. Hi both, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. A good place to start is some introductions. If you want to introduce yourselves, Emily.
Yeah, so my name's Emily. I am delighted to be the new homes advisor on the Five Oaks development in Shrewsbury.
I'm Beth. I run lots of big festivals and events in town and around the place. We've got several businesses, but the main one being Shrewsbury Food Festival, Shropshire Oktoberfest, and then we've got TP companies and marketing company as well.
Amazing. So we're here today because we're really excited to be having a new development in Shrewsbury. So I don't know if you want to start, Beth, maybe just by telling us a little bit about Shrewsbury in general and why it's such a fab place.
Shrewsbury is the centre of the universe. Little known fact that is. But we basically, Charles Darwin was born here, so evolution starts here. And the place is gorgeous. You walk through it, you look up, there's shops and passages as you go through Shrewsbury. And those are the little streets that kind of run through the town. And so everywhere you go, there's a little place that you can nip through. It's quite medieval looking. It's absolutely stunning as a town. It's got quite a vibrant nightlife. History, got loads of, green space, loads of. Essentially, it's the best place to live in the world.
I can see that. And say come the weekend, what do people tend to find themselves doing here?
So there's quite a lot happening in town. So there's often a cultural event. We've got a big theatre in town. There's a festival happening, or there's a park run. So we've got over 700 people do a park run every Saturday. I don't know what else there is to do in town. A lot of nightlife. So there's a couple of nightclubs, lots of pubs, loads of eateries. So quite a lot of focus on local food and drink regionally. And so lots of people celebrating that. Lots of drink, lots of gin made around here, quite a lot of local beers. So yeah, it's quite a good place. If you're into food, drink, socialising and you like people, then really it's good.
It works.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about Charles Darwin being born here. How can people find out more about like the history and the culture side of Shrewsbury here?
There's a Darwin trail that you can go around and go on. There's a castle, which I would love to be able to tell you all the history about, but I have no idea. Percy Thrower, there's a dingle here, so years ago that was built as well. There's an awful lot of history locally. We've got the Iron Bridge kind of 10-15 minutes away from Shrewsbury as well, so we've got quite a lot of places which are massively important historical sites which are within a 15-minute drive from here. So yeah, it's, if you're into history and you're into that kind of cultural side of it, there's probably a piece of history that's here that you can explore.
And you spoke a little bit there about sort of the people, and there's a lot of sort of socialisation that goes on in Shrewsbury. Do you think community and close-knit is quite a sort of element of that here?
Yeah, massively. So on the way, even down here today, there was a chap asking for directions. I stopped as well, helped. This chap is actually after a job, so I've given him my business card. And it's that, so like, you don't ever think that it's not a friendly place. I go down to London and I'm that weirdo who sits on the tube chatting to people because I'm so used to being in a queue and chatting to someone, just being relaxed. And it's a very, very friendly place. And I don't know, there's a lot of sense of community. So there's like pockets of almost little villages all around Shrewsbury on the outskirts, but then the town centre itself, you walk through and it's a bit of a nightmare because you always meet everyone you know. So if you're in a hurry, that's rubbish. You never get anywhere fast. But if you want somewhere really friendly and interactive, it is definitely that.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's something that ties into our developments. I think you've probably seen it on other places that you build a community.
Massively, there's a real sense of community with all of our Anwyl developments. So I've worked on developments before where they have WhatsApp chats, Facebook groups, just to kind of keep in touch, make new friends as well. And as you said, with the community, the sense of community here, you know, our future residents will definitely be looking for that, you know, sense of community on our developments.
While we're talking Anwyl, do you want to tell us a little bit about Five Oaks and what people can expect?
Yeah, so Five Oaks is a really exciting new development coming up. We, as a business, have operated in Cheshire, North Wales and Lancashire. There's going to be a total of 106 units on the development, a range of 2, 3 and 4 bedroom homes. So we're going to be launching the development from Shavington, Queen's Meadow, early July. And then the show homes will be launching a little bit later on in the year.
So obviously, as we're talking about people potentially moving to Shrewsbury, one of the things we've heard as we've been discussing the development and going through planning is that people who live in Shrewsbury basically never leave. They love living here so much. Would you say there's any specific reasons for that?
I think it ticks a lot of boxes. You've got green, big open spaces. You've got urban living. I think probably it's a nice mixture of everything. You're right. I work within Visit Shropshire as a destination management kind of organisation, and a lot of people come on holiday here. They kind of go, oh, this is quite nice. House prices are reasonable, and actually there's a lot to do. There's a lot to see. There's nice communities, nice place to bring up kids, nice place to go out if you're young, nice place to retire to. Why would you ever want to leave?
Yeah. Absolutely fair. I think you were speaking earlier as well about green spaces. You obviously have got the Quarry Park here and everything. I think that's become a really important element for people since like lockdown and things like that.
Yeah, we've got the River Severn. So the River Severn kind of snakes through, and Shrewsbury's got the loop of the River Severn around it. So you've got the English Bridge and the Welsh Bridge, which take you obviously to England or to Wales. And within both of those spaces, obviously I talked about Iron Bridge and that whole space over there. You've got Telford, and there's miles and miles of walks through there and through the hills. But then you've got the Shropshire Hills. And biking, if you're into mountain biking, there's a huge contingent of mountain bikers around here. Road biking, again, massive. And as I say about Park Run, it's a kind of fit and healthy place to live. And that might be a bit cliched, but because we've got so much outside space, people use it. And I think probably the population of dogs here is quite large as well.
Never a bad thing.
There's a sausage dog group that meet up. There's like 200 sausage dogs that walk around the quarry, I think once a month. It's really, it's that kind of random thing. It's the reason we love Shrewsbury.
Yeah, and I think green space is something we always incorporate into developments as well,
For
right?
sure, yeah. So with what you've said is there's so many green spaces, in and around Shrewsbury, as well as that on our development, we incorporate a lot of green spaces on all of them. So if you're kind of looking to walk the dog before work really quickly, you can just pop out onto your doorstep and there's a green space straight away for the residents to enjoy. So it's something that we really take pride in, all of the green spaces on our developments.
Yeah. And I think obviously our development is in the Beth Heath area. So I think one thing that's really important is how well connected Shrewsbury is in terms of public transport, cycling, as you say. It's got really good connections.
Yeah, really good. I mean, the public transport, there's a couple of park and rides that run in and out of town. So they kind of come from both sides of town. So whichever side you're coming from, you're going to hit park and ride, and they're really efficient. They're every 10 minutes. A lot of people work in the centre of town and use those. But biking, it's got to be the way forward, really. There's quite a lot of work. The town centre itself is closed off to traffic on a weekend, and so biking in is fine. Or if you need to, then you can drive in, and they're putting in lots more electric charging points as well. Mm-hmm. And so that's also, having an electric car myself, you can now charge quite a lot in town.
Yeah. I mean, to go on to that, with the sustainability aspect of Shrewsbury, like you've just said, this new development, we're obviously going to be building to the newest building regulations. So we're going to be mirroring that sort of sustainability aspect by incorporating PV solar panels, electric car charging points to each plot as standard.
Yeah, absolutely, which I think is really important. In terms of, obviously you're at the centre of a lot of Shrewsbury things that are going on. What is coming up this summer that people should be looking out for?
Shrewsbury Food Festival, obviously, not going to get a plug-in for it. So we have about 26,000 people will be in the quarry in end of June, 29th, 30th of June. And then we've got Oktoberfest at the end of June, but there's also the flower show in August. Wacky Races has just happened, which is like soapbox derby down the quarry. There's always something on in the quarry every weekend. So I think probably is have a look on Original Shrewsbury website and get yourself up to speed. But even on the periphery of town, there's a lot happening. So yeah, I think Shrewsbury Food Festival is definitely the one to come though. 200 local food and drink exhibitors, massive bands and everything else. But we've got a 70s, 80s concert as well in the quarry later on in August time. So yeah.
I think it's safe to say our developments tend to attract quite a wide audience from like families, first time buyers, don't they? So there's something for everyone.
There definitely is, yeah. We have a range of buyers from, like you say, young families, young professionals, to retired couples. So there is definitely something for everyone, it sounds like, in Shrewsbury. So that's really good for our residents.
Yeah, I think with young families and people who might be looking to start a family, schools are really well connected, and there's a lot of really good schools in the area as well, isn't there?
Yeah, schools are brilliant, and there's a range of both private and mainstream schools within the town centre, and facilities are really good for all of those as well, so they tend to share facilities across quite a lot of them. I don't know the schools up by the area where you are, but the Ofsted reports of most schools in Shrewsbury are pretty damn good.
Yeah, it does look like there's some excellent schools here, which is another huge selling point for young families coming to, look at living here. That's a massive benefit for them with the excellent schools that Shrewsbury has to offer.
And I think for perhaps people who are buying their first home or young families who might need a little bit of support in moving, we've got some really good schemes at the moment that can help them along the way, like the Own New scheme.
Yeah, we've got the Own New scheme. There's loads of schemes. I mean, we've got access to brilliant independent financial advisors. They can definitely help, anyone that's looking to move. They don't charge financial advice or mortgages, so they can run through, all of the ins and outs of the fabulous schemes that we have on at the minute.
So for people who do enjoy green space and being outdoors, is there a lot of sort of outdoor activities and things like that people can get involved in?
Yeah, so you've got a range of things, land and water. So on the water, we've got loads of people do paddleboarding. We've got Salop Leisure just up the road as well, and that's got a huge paddleboarding lake and lots of outdoor swimming. Outdoor swimming is quite a big deal around this area, and there's quite a lot of clean water places that you're able to do it. On the river itself, we've got Sabrina Boat that does tours, but also you can hire canoes, you can basically do anything you want on the river. It's really nice. We've got the West Mid Showground that's just outside of town as well, so there's a bridge that comes during festival time and during the main season. You can cross over the river onto the showground too and go and explore out that way. If you just like general being on hills, then there's obviously loads of walking in the Shropshire Hills. So if you're into mountain biking, you can go up the Longmynd, you can go up the Wrekin, you basically can go anywhere you want. Within Shrewsbury itself, there's quite a lot of safe cycling tracks, but mountain biking wise, there's acres and acres and miles of green open space and some very cool hills to come down.
You also mentioned, obviously, we've got the theatre in town. What kind of thing do people expect to see there?
I saw Oliver yesterday, so there's anything and everything. So there's some amazing drama groups in town. So if you're into Amdram, there's some really good groups. So Get Your Wiggle On is an amazing production group. So if you're into musical theatre, there's also some higher brow musical performances that happen in there as well. But also you've got the pantomime every year. Pantomime in Shrewsbury is a big deal. It's January every year. You can go and watch lots of people prancing around. But basically, the theatre covers such a wide genre that actually whatever you're into, you're going to be happy. So culture's very well and truly ticked off in Shrewsbury.
And I think we mentioned, obviously, we get a lot of families for, if you've got young children, other groups that they can get involved in and activities they can do.
Yeah, so if you've got young kids, the Quarry Park, again, I know we come back to the Quarry, but they've got an amazing splash park. So that is absolutely jam full every weekend. And it's got a huge play area, but there's loads of groups locally. So if you've got little tiny ones, mine are a little bit older now, but tinies, there's loads of the standard groups that you'd expect, like baby ballet and musical groups and everything else. And there's also kind of a lot of mummy fit groups too that socialise together. But then as the kids get older, there's anything and everything. There's a climbing wall just outside of town, so if they're into being more active, if you want to just have a kid that's, say, into drama or into football groups, we've got Shrewsbury Town Football Club that's just on the edge of town, and they run a really good programme, part of their youth development group. So there's quite a lot. So you've got a sporty or you've got a more arty kid, there's an art group in the centre of town that do a lot of collage and painting and stuff, all the way through from really young, messy kids up to budding artists.
Yeah, you mentioned the football club here. It's quite a big thing in Shrewsbury to find a lot of football brings a lot of people together.
Yeah, I know nothing about where they are in the league, but apparently they're right. If you're a football and you like orange and blue, then yeah, Shrewsbury Town's a place for you. It's really cool. They actually do quite a lot of that, other things as well as football up there. So they have music concerts on the pitch too, at the stadium, and yeah, it's apparently a good football club. Who knows?
I think you've obviously said that Shrewsbury is such a well sort of kept area, clean area. Has there been a lot of investment here over the last few years, or?
Yeah, so we're really lucky. So we have a business improvement district Shrewsbury's part of, so Shrewsbury Bid. They got voted in about 5-6 years ago, I think now, and that's quite a big deal for the town. It really helps from a cultural, tourism, but also a business perspective. So they work together with all the businesses within the town centre, and kind of by being able to be part of a bigger group, I think you can ensure that your town centre's clean, that we're promoted well, that we come together on branding. They're doing scratch cards at the food festival, for example, and so we'll try and push people back into town. So that movement between businesses, there's not a kind of competitive edge to it. Everyone's there to help each other and to kind of ensure that everybody thrives. There's an awful lot of independent businesses. Wildcop's got the most independent shops at any street in the UK, and so that's pretty impressive in its own right. But we've also got an independent shopping centre, which is unusual too. But then we've got big brands as well. So we've got a Primark here, obviously essential shopping. But you can basically get anything you'd want to, and for shopping for Christmas presents or birthday presents, you get a proper little unique present rather than just going to a national chain. I always end up spending a fortune. If you've got 10 minutes between meetings, you're stuffed because you're going to spend an absolute fortune. And the charity shops are epic.
Yeah, wow. And I think they're all really important things that people look for when they're buying a house. Like location is everything, isn't it?
It's location. Yeah, location is a huge thing. When people come to inquire, one of the first questions they ask, obviously, other than the homes themselves, but is what's the local area like? Where can I shop? Where can I take my dog for a walk? And it's huge. And by the sounds of everything you've just reeled off there, it sounds like a really special place for future residents to live.
So as we were talking about, obviously people live here for a very long time into later life. So, what's this to do if you're sort of, taking a slower pace of life, if you will?
There's an awful lot of retired people in Shrewsbury itself, and people enjoy all aspects. It's quite a vibrant U3A group, and so there's a lot of other things that are happening. We've got huge volunteering opportunities throughout town. We run off about 100 volunteers, and a number of those have retired, and there's a really good community of people that actually are retired and do walking groups and lots of other things. People have moved here from so many different areas, locally almost, so you've got a big contingent that will come down from kind of Chester, but Wales, a lot of people will come over because they want to have town living. So you've got good roots there as well.
Yeah, I mean, with Anwyl Homes being a Welsh family-run business and being so close to Wales as well, we as a company have been going for over 90 years. So, to bring our Anwyl brand into Shropshire as well, just so close as well to Wales, is quite special as well.
Yeah. So as obviously well as bus links, you've got really good rail links here as well, haven't we?
Yeah, it's just a couple of hours into London, about 45 minutes into Birmingham, and a lot of people commute in and out. So we've got Wellington train stations, free parking, and you can commute into the centre of London within a couple of hours. I mean, what's not to love about that? You've got green spaces, and then you're in the centre of a massive city. A lot of people commute to Birmingham. And also for shopping, you go to Chester, 45 minutes. So actually, so I said right at the beginning, centre of the universe.
I think that's really important for homeowners as well, because you have a lot of people who want to live in like a gorgeous area but still want to commute for work.
Absolutely. A lot of people nowadays, do commute in, whether they work from home some days and then commute into the city on some, with, London only being like an hour or two away is really quite special because they, like you say, commute to work, and it's great for transport.
We say about the working from home angle as well. We've got some really good broadband within Shrewsbury that's been quite a lot of investment in. There's a lot of community working and working kind of community hubs that people can work from as well within the centre of town. So if you do want to work from home but actually have other people around you, there's some very high-speed broadband available in the centre of town too.
Yeah, that's amazing. So Beth, if there's one thing or one reason you could give people to move to Shrewsbury, what would it be?
You're in the centre of the universe. One reason, there isn't one reason. You can't get one reason for a place like Shrewsbury. It is truly a fantastic place to live. People are amazing. The city itself is amazing. You won't regret it. So I think probably if there's one reason to do it is you won't regret it.
And for people who might be looking to move to Five Oaks specifically, what are their first steps? What should they be doing?
I mean, for anyone that's interested, I would most definitely urge them to get in touch, register via the website. We will give them a call and help start the ball rolling with their journey with Anwyl Homes.